Hello, I'm John Bachman. This is your Newsmax 2016 Campaign Center update. We start this Wednesday with a radio interview that's making waves. Dr. Ben Carson was asked about a new poll showing that 74% of blacks say his comment about having a Muslim in the Oval Office was unfair.
I think American blacks, over the course of this next year, will begin to see that they've been manipulated.
Well, Carson says more and more black voters are thinking for themselves and what works for them and their communities. According to a new Washington Post ABC News survey, political outsiders are still dominating the GOP field. The survey shows Donald Trump, Ben Carson, and Carly Fiorina scoring the highest among self-identifying Republicans. Carson leads the pack with a 68 to 14% favorability rating. Donald Trump broke his Fox News boycott, appearing on the O'Reilly Factor last night. Trump was asked whether he was going to have to be kinder and more mature in order to win the GOP nomination.
I think it's fair. I think the word mature is not appropriate, but I think it's certainly fair. It's not going to be a question of nice. I think I'm a nice person. I have great relationships. You know me well. I help people. I love people. But it's not going to be a question of that. It's going to be a question of competence.
Trump also told Bill O'Reilly that it feels good to be back on Fox News. Meanwhile, Chris Christie says Donald Trump's call to allow Russia to fight against ISIS was just wrong.
This president is not pursuing ISIS the way he should. I don't think he is and hasn't been. He called them the JV, and apparently Donald's now in the same boat.
Well, Christie says the American people don't want the future of ISIS determined by Russia and Vladimir Putin. A day after Marco Rubio says he doesn't want to be part of the Donald Trump freak show, his words, the Florida senator has now joined the chorus of attacks on Trump.
He doesn't like to be criticized. You know, the presidency's a tough job. You're going to be criticized, and you can't flip out every time somebody says something about you.
That's Marco Rubio on Hannity last night. Trump has recently slammed Rubio for being, quote, a lightweight baby and sweating too much. And perhaps another downer for the Donald. A blossoming bromance may now be wilting. Tom Brady is walking back his support of Trump. The NFL superstar says he is way too politically unaware to even take a stance at this point. Brady previously said it would be great if Trump was in the Oval Office and even kept a Trump hat in his locker. And more GOP on GOP attacks. Rand Paul says Ted Cruz is so over, at least in the Senate. Senator Paul says that his fellow Republican presidential candidate is done in the Senate. Why? Well, Paul says it's because Cruz has sunk to name-calling and personal attacks on those in leadership, which goes against Senate decorum. And Jeb Bush is siding with the Washington Redskins. The presidential hopeful says the team should have the right to keep its name the way it is, despite protests from Native American groups to change it. Bush says he's not offended by the name, and neither are Native American tribes. I'm John Bachman. This has been your Newsmax 2016 Campaign Center update. For more stories from the campaign trail, Newsmax.com is always on.